I just finished an audiobook. Let's talk about it. This is going to be The Long Game by Rachel Reid. The Long Game is book 6 in the Game Changer series. The entire series is hockey romances. In The Long Game specifically, we have an established relationship. This is actually going to be Ilya and Shane's second book in the series. We still have that opposites attract dynamic. We still have that idiots in love feeling. We're going to get a ton of character growth. We're going to get so many cameos from characters from the past books. And we get to see Ilya dog dad, which was one of my favorite things. And if you're listening to the audiobook is narrated by Cooper North. Let's talk about this book. I will try to keep this review as spoiler free as possible. If you're on the internet for any given period of time, it's going to be very hard to avoid spoilers for the series, but I will do my best and I will try to give a warning before revealing any kind of spoiler. So if you've read books 1 through 5 at this point, we've kept a pretty steady timeline. If you're skipping from Heated Rivalry straight to The Long Game, we're missing about 3 years from the end of Heated Rivalry to the beginning of The Long Game. If you read books 1 through 5, we're actually not at the end of book 5 yet. The Long Game starts a little bit before book 5. They're really great infographics online if you want to check for them that explain the timeline really well. But suffice to say that The Long Game, which is book 6 in the series, happens after Common Goal, which is book 4, but a little bit before Role Model, which is book 5. We will get a little bit of overlap of things that happened in Role Model that also occur in The Long Game, but we'll talk about that later. But just a quick catch up. At the end of Heated Rivalry, Shane and Ilya basically say, oh yeah, we're going to be official. They don't tell anybody though. Very, very few people know that Shane and Ilya are actually together. It's basically Shane's parents, Shane's best friend. I think that's it. But in the 3 years since the cottage, there are rumors floating around that Shane is gay, like in like the Major League Hockey world, but nothing's been confirmed, and Shane is definitely not going to like rock any boats and say yes or no. And there's absolutely no hint of Shane and Ilya being together officially. Ilya still has that like rock star persona going on, even though he is currently now at the Ottawa Centaurs and he's been there for a couple years at this point. Both men are still hockey icons. Both men are at the top of their game. They live very high stress lives, especially considering that they're keeping this one very large part of themselves completely secret. And that's probably the main antagonist of the story is Shane and Ilya working through what their life is together as this closeted couple who's absolutely in love. They're endgame for each other. But because of so many factors, they're keeping this part of themselves secret. I truly adore the series. I absolutely loved The Long Game. From beginning, middle, end, there's not a single part of this book that I would change. I absolutely adored Ilya before going into this book. He was already my favorite character in the series, but even more so, we got so much more of like Ilya's personality and his struggle. Ilya is, battling depression, which is something that his mom battled when he was a child. As you peel back the layers of this character, you just fall even more in love with him. Poor Shane. Shane always being compared to Ilya is probably not fair, but oh my god, Ilya was 1,000,000% my favorite character in this entire series, and even more so now after The Long Game. I loved all the cameos. I love seeing the characters from the previous book. If you read all the previous books, you know that Ilya was this like recurring character that would pop in and collect queer hockey players all throughout the series. And it's nice to see them come back and support him. I cried so much in my review of Role Model. I was like, oh, this is the first book that made me cry, and it's like Rachel Reid held all the tears for this book. By chapter 2, I was crying. I don't know how we're going to survive this on the screen. If Connor's story was able to make us cry with a Russian monologue that we had no idea what he was saying, seeing the plain monologue is going to absolutely destroy me. I'm going to just start investing in tissues now because I know that that is going to wreck me. Just open sobs, open sobs. And David just coming in at the end with that wedding, I was just a mess. Truly, this was such a beautiful story. Not only for the characters who we like feel that we know and love at this point, but the issues that Rachel Reid tackles and has been tackling with the series, the homophobia that they experience just passively and aggressively, like in your face, it was portrayed in such a realistic manner that I truly am looking forward to seeing this on the screen, especially as big as this show has become. I'm just like ecstatic for how it's being received and how it's just kind of like infiltrating so many different aspects of pop culture at this point. I'm like chronically online for the series and seeing that interview that Hudson Williams did, where he said that he has had, in the closet athletes DM him and let him know that, yes, this is real. This is actually happening. It's just so important. I think the story is literally changing lives. Just being able to see a story that reflects you, reflected in mainstream media, is so powerful for the people that don't really get to see it often. So I'm truly just so happy that these stories are being told. I forgot to add this, but it's important. If you're one of those people who are trying to find out who the queer people that have reached out to Rachel Reid and Hudson, the closeted professional athletes who have reached out to them in private, you're fucking weird. Don't fucking do that. You've somehow completely missed the entire fucking point of this goddamn story. Don't fucking do that. Back to my review. So The Long Game absolutely could be an HEA for Shane and Ilya. It could be the series finale, and it would be wonderful. 100% no notes. It is a fantastic story. But Barnes and Noble has recently, as in like yesterday, posted a pre-order for book 7 in the Game Changer series, which of course I have already pre-ordered 2 copies because they have a Barnes & Noble exclusive and also a normal print edition. It looks like we are not done with Shane and Ilya, which is the best news that I could think of. But if you are looking for a hockey romance that has just all the feels, all the cameos, the found family vibes like crazy, I absolutely adore this book. I highly recommend it. Oh, and I forgot. Posting a giveaway for Tough Guy. Ryan Price and Fabian were my favorite couple in the series, so I'm going to do a giveaway for a paperback version of their story. Look on my page for a post featuring a giveaway for Tough Guy. Till next time, guys. Bye.